Packers news that just broke a little bit before we started recording. Devonte Wyatt signs a 3-year, $57 million extension with Green Bay, $20 million signing bonus. It's coming off a year where he fractured his fibula and had torn ligaments in his ankle. Like in the Thanksgiving game against the Lions, that ended his season after 10 games. That's got to be painful. I mean, if it fractured ankle and fibula, that's or torn ligaments in his ankle.
No,
sorry, that's painful.
I don't think it hurts that much. I think it seems fine.
Yeah. So Ziggy, I'll kick it to you first. I'll kick it to you first here, Ziggy. Devonte Wyatt has been someone in Green Bay that when he's on the field is really productive, one of the best interior pass rushers in football. He's just not on the field very often for him. He's missed 10 regular season games in the past 2 years. What, as far as the value of this contract for Green Bay, do you think that this was something they had to do to lock him up?
I think if you can get him to sign this contract, this is a great deal for Green Bay. Many people will see like $60 million and think that's a lot of money, but you have to keep in mind, Jeffrey Simmons signed an extension this offseason for $35 million a year, right? That number that he's getting paid puts him at about around 20, slightly above 20 in terms of interior defensive tackles getting paid. So all you need out of him in order for this contract to be good is some productivity. And when he played, not only was he like really effective next to Micah Parsons in 10 games, he had 4 sacks, some pass breakups, a bunch of tackles. He showed in 23 and 24 he can be very productive too. Like Green Bay, they have very little talent on the defensive line. Devonte Wyatt, when he played, was a huge difference maker for them. You can't let him walk, and this gives the Packers an affordable deal that keeps him in town. And things like a fractured fibula and torn ligaments, I don't expect that to repeat. That's most of his missed games the past couple of years. I think this is great value for Green Bay, and I'm sorry that we're going to have to see him in the division for a while.
Anya, we know the injuries the Packers had last year, and for me, this one always just fly. Like I'm thinking like
totally flew under the radar.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, like Kraft was injured, blah blah blah. This one totally flew under the radar, and like this Green Bay defense too. Now with Micah Parsons out for probably 8-9 weeks as well.
Yeah.
Right. Like you gotta I think this would be a very good move for Green Bay if he does sign the contract.
Yeah. I mean, you're hoping that he gets on the field here. And you never want to like play out in your head with these deals. What if he gets hurt again? It has to be factored into it. But as far as Green Bay is concerned, I think a lot of people talked about this team for the past couple of years about just being the youngest team in football, right? Everyone on this team was kind of just a kid, right? Most of them. And you're seeing them enter into most of them in the primes of their careers right now. So one of the weakest points on the Packers' entire roster is defensive tackle. Another one, well, other fans are concerned about cornerback, right? But cornerback and D tackle is probably where most fans are turning to saying that could be the position that gets us this year. And if you remove Devonte Wyatt from the occasion, and that's a pretty bare room. I mean,
it's the Javon Hargrave show.
Yeah, it's the Javon Hargrave show, and that's already putting a lot of faith into Javon Hargrave.
Hargrave's
so you need
Hargrave's a beast.
You need Devonte Wyatt there. Go ahead, Ziggy.
Hargrave.
I was say, Jack, when you were watching the Vikings last year, because you saw some Viking games, you thought this team is terrible, and Javon Hargrave was at the top of terribly disappointing Vikings.
And
Number one, there's no other player more disappointing.
Yeah, Packers fans will argue that he was being misused with Flores, and now you gets back in with Jonathan Gannon.
Is that the same Hargrave on the Steelers?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's awesome. Like you go to the Vikings and it's you stink.
He was early. I mean, he's older. He's an older player now, and that's the Packers' big free agent signing. But I love the move still though. Again, because you have a window right now if you're Green Bay over the next it'll probably be Jordan Love's career, honestly, if he stays playing the level he has. But
this core's window's 2 or 3 years.
This core window right here, probably 2 or 3 years, like you said. And you lock in Hargrave we'll see the contract details, but he should be there for the long run now. And you have to think that if you have so many bites at the apple, eventually one season Green Bay will have a deep postseason run, and one season guys will all stay healthy. Usually just injury luck doesn't, unless you're the 49ers, you don't really get hammered down by those year after year. So I really like the deal for Green Bay. I think it's one they had to make too. But Ziggy, you threw in the rundown here. Isaiah McDuffie came out and he said the Packers have everything they need for a deep playoff run. And I have a hard time. The question is, have the Packers actually done enough to go on a deep run in 2027, or do they need another big addition? And what's difficult for me when addressing that question is that they clearly have enough, right? When last season, when they were good or when they were healthy, they were one of the best teams in football. But I still feel like across multiple positions, you're asking for St. Juice or Cisse, right? You're asking for the cornerback room for someone to elevate. You're asking for Jonathan Hargrave to turn back the clock. You're asking for a bunch of guys to return from injury and play at a high level, perhaps, the highest level of their career. You're asking Jordan Morgan to step in at left tackle for the first time in his career for a full season. There's a lot of what ifs. And if all of them work out, like clearly this team is going to be really, really good. But do you think as it currently stands that this, what's your confidence meter on the 2026 Packers?
Going into 2024, we were talking about Matt LaFleur and how he just was borderline unbeaten in December.
Yeah.
It's been rough the past 2 years. They went 1-3 in 2025, 2-2 in 2024. And McDuffie pointed this out, right? He said, we need to finish the games late in the season. We've got to keep things going. It's all about finishing. And what I would like to see from Green Bay this year, I'm not sure they need any huge additions at this point. But at the midseason trade deadline, there's always guys who are going for a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, 5th round pick. They can be productive contributors and just get some fresh legs in the building, right? We've seen teams make those acquisitions year after year, and random guys can help propel you further into the playoffs. I think that it would make a lot of sense. I know Green Bay loves their draft picks, but I think they have to start being aggressive with the assets they have. And I don't think that needs to be a July thing. But at some point this year, the Packers have a lot of position groups that are vulnerable to injury, and something's going to hit. I'd like to see them be a little bit more aggressive.
But maybe that's something that'll happen. Yeah, after
you say it's
someone
all
gets
about
hurt.
finishing, Ziggy. You say it's all about finishing.
Maybe that's something though that
I'm just repeating what McDuffie said.
Yeah, I think that's something where maybe after someone goes down, you'll see them make a move. But I mean, Ziggy, they just trade for Micah Parsons. Like they just used.
No, they didn't. They didn't just trade for Micah Parsons. They traded for Micah Parsons a year ago.
Sure. I'm just saying, I think Green Bay has been more aggressive
last
than
year. Their
usual.
receiver core was absolutely ruined, and you could have gotten Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. People have struggled with linebackers. Like there are always players moving, and I just don't understand. I get that you want
an ultra aggressive mindset.
You don't have to be stupid, but the Packers have been conservative at the trade deadline every year, and it hasn't been good for them.